We're working to connect a region of over 600 more bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Nea Mangawang, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines, U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un committed to a denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula after a historic summit in Singapore. U.S. President Donald Trump reaffirms his country's commitment to engaging Southeast Asia following a tete-a-tete meeting with Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. And Israeli ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency F.E. Ben Matitiao, makes a second courtesy call to Iglesia ni Cristo Executive Minister Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un concluded a historic nuclear summit in Singapore by signing a document in which Trump pledged security guarantees to the North and Kim reiterated his commitment to complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un hailed their historic summit Tuesday as a breakthrough in relations between Cold War foes.
So we're signing a very important document, a pretty comprehensive document, and we've had a really great term together, a great relationship. I'll be giving a news conference at 2:30, which is in a little bit less than 2 hours, and we'll discuss this at great length. In the meantime, I believe that they'll be handing it out on behalf of Chairman Kim and myself, and we're both very honored to sign the document. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Pyongyang's leader Kim Jong-un said after his summit with President Donald Trump that North Korea and the U.S. have decided to leave the past behind, and President Donald Trump said he has formed a special bond with North Korea's leader. The two former foes also pledged to meet again. Let's listen in.
We had a historic meeting and decided to leave the past behind, and we are about to sign a historic document.
세상은 아마 중대한 변화를 보게 될 것입니다.
The world will see a major change.
오늘과 같은 이런 자리를 위해서 노력해 주신 트럼프 대통령께 사의를 표합니다.
I would like to express my gratitude to President Trump to make this meeting happen.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The extraordinary summit, unthinkable only months ago, comes after the two nuclear-armed foes appeared on the verge of conflict late last year as they slung personal insults and Kim conducted nuclear and missile tests. But some analysts have warned the summit could produce more style than substance. And Kelly Mosaman, a former top Pentagon Asia specialist, said, quote, "We'll see if Kim actually gives him anything more than superficial pleasantries and some good TV." Some critics said the mere fact of the meeting meant Trump was legitimizing Kim, who critics say runs a police state where human rights are routinely trampled. Michael Covery, Crisis Group Senior Advisor for Northeast Asia, said it's a huge win for Kim Jong-un, who now, if nothing else, has the prestige and propaganda coup of meeting one-on-one with the president while armed with a nuclear deterrent. Trump responded to such commentary on Twitter, saying, "The fact that I am having a meeting is a major loss for the U.S., say the haters and losers." But he added, "Our hostages are back home and testing, research, and launches have stopped. And these pundits who have called me wrong from the beginning have nothing else they can say." He concluded, "We will be fine." South Korean President Moon Jae-in hailed the outcome of the summit between President Donald Trump and the North's leader Kim Jong-un as a historic event ended the last Cold War conflict. Moon has made great efforts playing the role of mediator to bring the Cold War foes back to dialogue. He praised Trump and Kim for their courage and determination, not to settle for that outdated and familiar reality, but to take a daring step towards change.
Leaving dark days of war and conflict behind, we will write a new chapter of peace and cooperation. We will be there together with North Korea along the way. 70 years of division and hostility, however, have cast a dark shadow that makes it difficult to believe what is actually taking place before our very eyes. The June 12th Sentosa Agreement will be recorded as a historic event that has helped break down the last remaining Cold War legacy on Earth. Of division and
The head of the UN's nuclear watchdog welcomed the statement issued by U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at the end of their summit in Singapore. In a statement, Yukiya Amano, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, said, quote, "I welcome the joint statement of President Trump of the United States and Chairman Kim of the DPRK at the Singapore summit, which includes the DPRK's commitment towards complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The IAEA stands ready to undertake any verification activities in the DPRK that it may be requested to conduct by the countries concerned." Last week, Amano said the IAEA would be ready to restart inspection work in North Korea at short notice within weeks, not months, if a political agreement were reached, adding that the agency would be able to mobilize many staff if needed. In 2009, Pyongyang expelled IAEA inspectors from its Yongbyon nuclear site and has since refused to allow IAEA inspections on its territory.
We are closely following the development related to the nuclear program of the North Korea. We will be ready to act promptly and play an essential role in verifying North Korea's nuclear program if a political agreement is reached among countries concerned.
Meanwhile, Deputy Asia Director of Human Rights Watch Phil Robertson gives his take on the U.S.-North Korea summit in Singapore and warns that if human rights isn't on the agenda, the North Korean people are the ones who will suffer. Take a listen.
And this is certainly something that the North Koreans will use extensively to show that they finally arrived and to assert that, in fact, they are recognized as an important part of the international community. Our take on it is that they are not. They are still a pariah regime. They can't, sort of cherry pick which things they want to do and which things they don't. They're either in or they're out. And if they want to be in, it's not going to be an American flag with a North Korean flag that's going to save them there. It's going to be actually the willingness to have dialogues and deal with issues of human rights and accountability going forward.
Asked on whether the U.S. will get played by the North Koreans, this is what he said.
That if they're not careful, they will be played. This issue of the nuclear weapons and the missiles have essentially opened the door for North Korea to come in and have this summit and talk with the Americans. The question is, what else is going to be on the agenda? This is why there needs to be an inclusive agenda that includes human rights. I think that unless that agreement includes issues of human rights, the North Korean people are the ones who are really losing here.
Now, on a lighter note, U.S. President Donald Trump jokes with the media during a working lunch with North Korea's Kim Jong-un in Singapore, asking them to make him and Mr. Kim look nice and handsome and thin. Watch this.
Please, Sharon, sit, please. Very nice. Getting a good picture of everybody, so they look nice and handsome and thin.
Beautiful.
잘생기게 아름답게 찍어달라고. 훌륭한 분위기를 가지고 있고 아주
Thank you very much.
ASEAN in Focus will be right back. Please stay with us.
News, Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump expressed his country's continued commitment to engaging Southeast Asia following a tentative meeting with Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong at the palace on Monday. In a statement, the Singaporean Foreign Ministry said President Trump expressed the U.S.'s continued commitment to engage the ASEAN region and his support for Singapore's chairmanship of ASEAN. The U.S. President also accepted the invitation from President Halima Yacob to make a state visit to Singapore in November 2018 in conjunction with the 6th ASEAN-U.S. Summit and 13th East Asia Summit. The U.S. has only recently shown renewed interest in engaging Southeast Asia after Trump attended last year's APEC leaders meeting in Vietnam and touted a free and open Indo-Pacific, portent for concerted efforts with allies like India, Japan, and Australia, and now ASEAN to balance China's rapidly expanding sphere of influence in the region. Chinese State Councilor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi said on Tuesday that China and the ASEAN will expand cooperation in various fields and forge a closer community with a shared future. Wang Yi made the remarks while holding talks with ASEAN Secretary General Lim Jock Hoi in Beijing. Wang said China and ASEAN would work together to promote the formulation of the China-ASEAN Strategic Partnership Vision 2030, hold the 2018 ASEAN-China Year of Innovation, and synergize the Belt and Road Initiative with the Master Plan for ASEAN Connectivity 2025. For his part, Lim said the ASEAN Secretariat is willing to play a constructive role in deepening political, economic, trade, and cultural cooperation with China. Wang and Lim also agreed that the situation of the South China Sea had notably stabilized through the efforts of China and ASEAN. Meanwhile, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III has called for a stronger cooperation between the ASEAN and the Russian Federation in the field of customs administration to strengthen economic ties between the two major global trade hubs. Secretary Dominguez has suggested to Russian Ambassador to the Philippines, Igor Kovayev, that the head of the Federal Customs Service of the Russian Federation make a tour of the countries comprising the ASEAN as a way to begin the process of establishing stronger customs ties with economies in the Asia-Pacific region. Now, the Russian ambassador accepted the suggestion as a way to boost Russia's ties with countries in the Asia-Pacific region, as he underscored Russia's interest in building a solid partnership with the Philippines. Russia and the Philippines have an existing customs mutual administrative assistance agreement signed in 2013. The accord aims to promote cooperation between the customs agencies of the two countries to help fight transnational crimes and commercial fraud and prevent customs offenses. We'll be back after this break. Stay tuned.
I am here at Gastown, which is a National Historic Site in Vancouver, British Columbia. Located in Vancouver's oldest neighborhood is the steam-powered clock, which is Gastown's most famous landmark. Make sure to tune in to Digital Nest every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. I am Lou Aquino, EBC correspondent, and I am 1 with 25.
Sa lahat po na bumubuo ng Eagle Broadcasting Corporations, we want to wish you happy 50th anniversary. Grabe, 50 years na, honey.
Oh, yeah.
That's a milestone, and we wish you all the best and more success. May God continue to bless you. So happy anniversary.
More power!
Welcome back. Israeli Ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency F.E. Ben Matitiao, visited the Iglesia ni Cristo or Church of Christ Central Office on Monday, June 11. He made courtesy call to INC Executive Minister Brother Eduardo V. Manalo for the second time, 2 months before the end of his tour of duty in the Philippines. Ambassador Matitiao, who first served as ambassador to the Philippines in August 2014, said he will be leaving the country with fond memories of Philippines' warmth and hospitality, as well as the special great friendship between Israel and the Iglesia ni Cristo.
We had a very friendly and very amicable discussion with Brother Manalo and myself. I met Brother Manalo before, and we highlighted the commonality, the friendship which we share together. Brother Manalo was in Israel a few years ago, and it was his second trip. Now I hope that he's planning the third trip. I think it's going to be a great bridge of friendship. I mean, the INC is going to create with Israel on a constant flow of your academics, your leaders, your spiritual leaders going and coming. And I was talking about Israel being a hub for more than just a spiritual center. And we agree that this is indeed one of the challenges, and something that we discuss here with the university leadership, but also with him. And we talked about the world.
The Israeli ambassador was also warmly greeted by a crowd of INC Central Office ministers and other volunteer workers who excitedly waved small flags of Israel and the INC when he arrived before 9 a.m. for his courtesy call to the INC Executive Minister. The first time that the ambassador visited the INC Central Office was in September 2016. INC Protocol Officer Brother Joel San Pedro said Ambassador Matitiao's second visit just before his tour of duty ended reaffirmed his friendly relations with the INC Executive Minister, as well as the good relations between Israel and the Church of Christ.
The reason for His Excellency Ambassador Matitiao's visit now in June is because he's also very well aware of the very busy schedule of the Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, this being the 50th anniversary of the Church's missions around the world, especially with the missions that began in the West in July of 1968. The Ambassador of Israel, His Excellency Ambassador Matitiao, has noticed the works of the Iglesia ni Cristo under the leadership of Brother Eduardo Manalo. In its struggle against poverty, the Church has expanded its programs and its eco-farms that not only provide food, you can never run out of the need for food, but also the helping in expanding the job opportunities for our fellow men in different parts of the world, being that the eco-farms are not only all over different parts of the Philippines, but expanding to different parts of the world, especially in Africa. And at the same time, we can see also the convergence of agriculture and education and technology, of areas of interest that the ambassador feels passionately about, that he also sees reflected in the leadership of the Executive Minister in caring not only for members of the Iglesia ni Cristo and overseas Filipino workers, but all people in the projects that are being aimed to fight against poverty and for the development of many communities around the world to help our fellow human beings.
Ambassador Maditiao commended INC's efforts to develop eco-farming communities not only in the Philippines but also in other countries. He said that these are also contributing to the efforts in poverty alleviation in the world.
I can only say that agriculture is something that is going to be with us forever, because people cannot eat pixels, they cannot eat .coms. They can only, nothing digital can be edible at this stage. So we need to make sure that farming and the farming community is not going to be associated with poverty, but rather turning into a most viable and a strong community that adds to the economy, adds to society, and is an inseparable part of growth. So today, unfortunately, in the developing world, much of the farming is associated with poverty. We have to change this formula, and it's within our capacity, it is in our hands, and we can do that.
The INC has at least 29 eco-farming communities in the Philippines and in Africa, and more sites are being eyed for development as the church is committed to its efforts to fight poverty. Last May 6, it conducted a worldwide walk to fight poverty, which was participated in by more than 300 sites across 18 time zones. The Israeli ambassador said that he considered these efforts of the INC to set up eco-farming communities as commendable. Ambassador Maditiao also expressed admiration with the Iglesia ni Cristo under the leadership of Brother Eduardo for extending the church's care to Filipinos all over the world, including those in Israel through various outreach projects. The INC had been conducting various social, civic, and outreach activities in various parts of the world, including in Israel.
Look, you are a very significant member of this community, of this society. We appreciate that, and we see you, I mean, in your relation with the Holy Land as a natural friendship, as a bridge of friendship. So it goes without saying that we had this open doors to one another, and goes without saying that with very friendly people, both sides found themselves in a very amicable environment. So yes, I mean, INC is indeed one of our pillars of friendship in the Philippines.
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Nea Mangawang, always one with 25.
Want some more?